everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio. I'm Pam, your host, and joining me tonight is my co-host. I did that on purpose. My good buddy, David.
Hi. Either one works, though.
I know, right? I did that on purpose, though, I promise. Just to make a joke. Start off the interview really good with a laugh, so here we are.
Here we are. It got suddenly colder around here.
Oh, did it? Yeah. It's been getting cooler here, too. But let's get to our guest because we don't want her to get cut off from her thunderstorms. Tonight we are so very pleased to have with us a multi-award-winning singer-songwriter and author, JANIS IAN. And those are Grammys, by the way, people.
Hi. Hi, Pam. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Hi.
So I guess you're getting in Nashville what I had in Chicago. We had about 3 days of rain and pretty bad thunderstorms, and David got them in New York. So
we're looking a little bit funky here. It's just raining everywhere right now. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good for the gardens.
Definitely. I know that you probably have a better winter than Chicago does, so that's where I am. So I think I'll bunk out on your back porch. Is that okay?
Sure. We've got a big yard. You're welcome to bunk out there, too.
Large dog house, I'll take.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to start out our show with giving a little background on our guest, and wanted to ask you, when did you decide you wanted to be a singer professionally?
Oh, the minute I realized it was possible, I think. It must have been 10, 9.
Yeah, you did start awfully young.
Yeah, I started writing songs when I was 12. I was published when I was 13, and I made a record when I was 14, so it was pretty early on. I mean, I always wanted to do this. I never wanted to do anything else but write and sing. So I'm pretty lucky that I've gotten to do it my whole life.
Oh, yes. There's not a lot of people that can say they've done that, and made a living at it, too.
Absolutely.
Now, did you take singing lessons, or did it just come naturally?
I took lessons to make sure that I wouldn't lose my voice on a long tour, something that I would recommend for any singer. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, fortunately, I had teachers who didn't want to change anything about the way I sang. They just wanted to help me preserve my voice.
That's a good idea because I noticed that a lot of singers walk around with something around their throat, like a scarf or something. Does that really work?
Well, my dad always told me that if I wore a scarf all the time, I would never have to worry about getting sick. And whether it works or not, it's in my head.
Yeah. Well, you probably haven't had a lot of sicknesses then as far as colds, before going.
Well, you learn how to sing through them, you learn how to sing through anything. I mean, the time before the last time I played London, I had food poisoning, me and my sound man both.
Oh.
French salmon of all things. And we kind of did the show propped up on flat ginger ale and Pepto-Bismol, so pretty exciting.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine having to do a show like that. God bless you for getting through it. Oh.
Yeah, well, you do what you got to do. People sometimes have made plans months and months ahead, so you really don't want to let anybody down.
Exactly. Although, if you can't do it, you can't do it, and people do tend to understand that as well. Now, I read that your first song you wrote was Society's Child, which is the one you wrote at the age of 14, and that it was a rough time for you because of what the song was about. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I think anytime that you have early success, it's hard. Anytime you have success, really, it's hard. And you have to learn to redefine success. Maybe that's the way to put it. Like, when I was younger, being famous was really important to me. And now being warm in the winter and having enough food and the occasional nice night out is important. So all of that changes a lot, and I think what you're willing to give up for it changes too. I'm off the road right now pretty much up for the next 2 years, although I'm doing 3 weeks in Europe next year. But that's with Tom Paxton, and we've always wanted to do it. But my idea of success now isn't based on how much touring I do. It's based on having a 24-year marriage, and it's based on having healthy grandkids, and it's based on paying off the mortgage, Does that make sense?
Just like the rest of us, yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I have all of the above, and I think we're pretty much married the same amount of years. I always forget, isn't this terrible? I got married in 1989, so whatever that is.
Yeah, we've been together since 89. We couldn't get married until 2003 in Toronto, but we count ourselves as a 24-year marriage at this point.
Oh, sure, especially when you've been together that long. Why not? You know, it doesn't always have to have a piece of paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the song that always sticks out in my mind when I think of your name is At 17. It was such a huge hit. What was that song about for you?
Well, it's about me. I mean, I was kind of stunned that anybody else would relate to it. I think I spent the first 6 months waiting for the audience to laugh at me. So.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
of course. I mean, everybody feels like that, don't they? Don't you think? Everybody feels like they're the only one. That's the power of a song like At 17 is that it makes people feel like somebody gets it.
Right.
That's right.
And I think most songs are relatable, even if they're about the songwriter themselves. It's relatable to the listeners of the music. You just, the way you write the song, we can find something in there that we say, yeah, that's me too. So
yeah, you go for the universal usually if you're any kind of a writer. Whether it's a song or a children's book or a short story or a novel, you're going to try and explain your experience in a way that other people can relate to it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Mm-hmm. But I think when it really does work, like with At 17, for me as a writer anyway, it's nothing short of miraculous.
How do you think your writing has changed from the time you started till now?
I'm a better writer. I'm more concise. Nashville really forces you because the competition is so, gosh, there's so many great writers here. There's so many great players. You can't help but improve. I mean, the option is to give up.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that because I'm sure this is your passion.
Right, exactly.
Well, your album Between the Lines earned 5 Grammy nominations and 2 wins. What emotions ran through you with such high recognition from the music industry?
It's funny. I was just talking with a friend of mine, an author named Neil Gaiman, and I said, don't make the mistake I made with At 17. I was so busy all the time just trying to be more successful and do better that I didn't take any time to enjoy it. I mean, I remember we had to change a show date for the Grammys so I could perform, and CBS flew me on their private plane, and then the next morning I was back on the road. So it was great because I watched Ella Fitzgerald give me a standing ovation, and that would stand out in my head forever.
My gosh.
But it was, it would have been great. My folks were there. It would have been great to just spend some time with everybody and celebrate. And that's why when I got the Grammy this year for the Best Spoken Word, my partner flew out, Pat, and I had the producer of At 17, and and my publicist, and after the win, we went to a nice private steak dinner and popped open a bottle of champagne and just had a really lovely evening. Because I think I've learned that that's really what you want to do when you have some success. You want to enjoy it. Right.
Yeah, and not be on the road and missing out on being able to celebrate that.
Right, exactly.
David, you had a question?
Yes, I did. Who were your favorite vocalists growing up?
Well, Joan Baez and Odetta, Billie Holiday, Edith Piaf, Dylan, Sinatra.
All great ones.
Pretty wide span there, I'd say. Yeah.
Mhm.
All really good singers.
Definitely.
I think that most of my phrasing probably comes out of jazz and folk music because I didn't start hearing pop music till I was in my teens.
Mhm. Oh, sorry, my phone cut out there a second. Did you hear me?
Are you okay? Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
no, and here you're the one with the storm, and my phone cuts off.
That's all right.
Oh, wow.
Well, you took a 9-year break from music to rethink what you wanted to do, and you studied theater with the legendary Stella Adler. Did you perform on stage after taking those classes?
No, that was really never important to me. I really just wanted to learn, and Stella was a huge influence on me. Stella was the one who told me that I should teach someday. And Stella was the one that told me that I should write in forms other than songs. So she really changed my whole life. She was amazing. She was 50 years older than me, and we were the best of friends. I miss her every day.
Oh. So did she influence you to become an author?
Yes. Yes, I think she was a big part of that because her love of the written word as opposed to singing. I mean, she loved songs, but she loved playwrights, and she loved the written word, and she loved stories and storytellers. And as I move toward being a storyteller rather than a songwriter, because storytelling includes songwriting.
Right, right.
I think a lot about Stella and her impact, and I'm good friends with her grandson, Tom, and I teach. I'm going to be teaching for them next fall for a couple of weeks at the New York Conservatory. So it's sort of a full circle for me with Stella and writing, and I guess being brave too, Pam. Just being brave enough to take on a project like my autobiography, which was pretty daunting, or a children's book, which was really, I had no experience with that. To take stuff like that on and say, okay, I'll do my best. That's all I can do.
Exactly, and you have done your best, because I read The Tiny Mouse, and I read that to my G kids, as I call them, because nobody calls me Grandma, okay?
Okay, that's fair enough.
And they absolutely got a kick out of it. I had to read it to them a few times, and of course I played the CD for them, and they just loved it. So when they come back again, they're here every other weekend. I'm sure they'll be, Nana, can you read that book again? Nana, can you play that music?
Send them to the website so that they can download all the free stuff we've got there, too.
Oh, I definitely will. And they've got to see that video.
Oh, yeah. Of my puppy trying to learn to read. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That is too adorable.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, I did. Now, is your dog used to you singing and reading to him?
I try to get her to just pay attention. She's always just so much more interested in the cheese. In that sense, she and the Tiny Mouse have a fair amount in common.
Oh. Well, as long as dogs are being paid attention to, I think that's all they care about.
Yes,
whether you're reading or talking nonsense or whatever.
Yep.
Pat them on the head, give them a kiss, hug them, spend time with them, and they're happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we could talk for hours about your music career with all that you've done. I wanted to also say that you won your Grammy for this year, and you were up against President Bill Clinton, First Lady Michelle Obama, Rachael Maddow, and Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah,
Talk about competition.
It was quite a group. It was pretty amazing, and I was actually standing backstage clutching the hand of a complete stranger and saying, okay, I know how to lose, I know how to lose. I'll just be polite, and I'll congratulate everybody, and I'll send out some congratulatory tweets, and we'll call it a day. And then I won. I mean, you could have blown me away.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. My gosh. I mean, those are huge people, too, to be in competition with, and that's such an honor.
Well, it's like I said to somebody, it's not exactly like any of those people needs a publicist.
Right.
Pretty amazing.
True.
It was a great night. I mean, for me, these kind of years, I was just talking with a friend about this, these kind of years happen so rarely where everything goes right. I won the Grammy, and then I won, a month later, I won what they call an Audie Award, which is the Audiobook Peers Award for the best narration by an author. And my tours have sold out all year. My book is getting great reviews. It's a really good year for me, and they're so rare that I'm just trying to savor it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.